We heard a few days ago how God made a promise to Abram of descendants as many as the stars in the sky. Paul refers to this promise in Romans 9, verse 8 to 9. This means that children born by natural descent from Abram are not necessarily God's children. Instead, children born by the promise are considered Abram's descendants. I will come back at the right time, and Sarah will have a son. To understand who are these children of promise, we need to look at the story in Genesis. Abram and Sarai fell in unbelief when God's promise tarried and thought they'd help God fulfill his promise using a slave woman. In Genesis 17, Abram tried convincing God to accept Ishmael as the son of promise in unbelief. God was not moved. Genesis 17, verse 19, God replied, "No, your wife Sarah will give you a son, and you will name him Isaac. I will make an everlasting promise to him and his descendants." Sarah will give birth to him at this time next year. In Genesis 21, we see Isaac was born a year later. God respected his free will by sticking with his original promise. Romans 9, verse 14 to 16. God said to Moses, "I will be kind to anyone I want to. I will be merciful to anyone I want to." Therefore, God's choice does not depend on a person's desire or effort, but on God's mercy. God gave each person a free will. We can choose to hold on to his promises or decide to act in unbelief. We also have to allow other people to make their own choices. We can ask, as Abram asked God to include Ishmael in the promise, but we have to accept their answer. Still, God has an abundance of resources and gave a different promise to Ishmael. Here are a couple of questions to reflect on. Press pause for more time to reflect. Have you experienced a lack of kindness? What do you want to do with those unfulfilled expectations? Have you withheld kindness from others? What actions do you want to take at this stage? Dear friend, I bless you with this word from Romans 11, verse 22. Look at how kind and how severe God can be. God is severe to those who fell, but kind to you if you continue to hold on to his kindness. Otherwise, you too will be cut off. Friend, believing in the promises you received is the requirement for your branch to remain on the tree. There is severe punishment for not believing. We will be cut off. But that is not because God is nasty, but through the consequences we then experience, God draws us back to himself. Listen to Romans 11:29. God never changes his mind when he gives gifts or calls someone. The cutting off of the branch does not mean God takes his gift back or cancel his promises. I bless you to continue believing even when God's promises tarry. I bless you not to become despondent, but to keep on believing for the impossible to become possible. Let the fulfilled promise of a child at the age of 91 and 100 be your proof of God's kindness. May this word sprout roots to do its complete work in your humanity, spirit, soul, and body.